Thank you. I think we've had a bit of chat on the other side, but I'll just give a little bit of a background of how the andBeyond Foundation was started and how do we work with the communities. Basically, my name is Peggy Pheki. Unfortunately, they're still trying to correct my name tag because there was a spelling mistake. But Peggy Pheki, and my surname is Ntuli from one of the communities here, right where we're standing. Because as we are here now, we are right out of the reserve. So the reserve, the reserve and the community is being separated by the fence. Not because that we don't like people who are out there, but it's because of avoiding the lions and getting into the community and all that. But in as far as how did we start it, andBeyond Foundation, as the name says, andBeyond. andBeyond basically is the main business which actually operates the lodges or the game reserve in South Africa, Southern Africa, and in other African countries, and also part of India. And when it was initially started in 2000, in 1990, when Phinda was bought, because the name Phinda means it's a Zulu name, which actually means the return. Phinda is meaning you're returning something back. So initially the land was, as maybe you have heard before you went on a game drive, and I know that Charles has done that before, but just to capture something out of that is that the word Phinda is the return of the wildlife actually, where this place used to be like farming like livestock and pineapple farming and all that. And most of the staff, some of the staff were working for those farmers at the time, actually moved in with andBeyond when we started. Like we've got one guy who's a chef, like Sam Ngoni, and others. Some have already left the company, others have already retired because of the years they've spent now in the company, and I think we've grown up at the time. But the name andBeyond comes from the main business which operates the lodges. And when Phinda was started, it was very clear that there were like communities which were neighboring Phinda. And the level of poaching, as you know, many of the game reserve, poaching is always there. So, and most of the time, poaching is being actually provoked by the point that people don't see actually any direct communication, any direct benefit from these reserves, and they think these people came just to take our land, our old father's land, and we are not benefiting anything. But andBeyond had a way of saying, how can we really incorporate these people? How can we work with the people who are just across the fence? On the other side, you see the lion. On the other side, you see the person moving around. Or how can we make a relationship between the two? And as a result, they approach the local tribal authority or the local leadership structure. And in each and every community that we're going to see or we're going to talk about, these communities are organized in a way that there is a chief or the Nkosi on top, and then you have the headman or the people who are actually assisting the chief. And then under the headman or his induna, you have got what people will call the messengers. Those are the people who are working together with the Nkosi and the headman. And the three structure, level structure is regarded as the tribal authority. That's a very critical structure. Whenever you have to embark with that in that community with any project, those are the people to get a buy-in from first, because they know exactly what is happening in the community, what are the needs of the community. So andBeyond did the same at the time, way back in 1990, 1991. Of course, it was a process. It wasn't a once-off thing. You have to engage these people, and they see these people coming here, and people will have a mentality or the perception that these people are coming to take our land. They're just coming to say maybe we'll benefit this because later they will take over the land. So they had to resolve all those kind of things, and andBeyond had to prove that we are not here to actually take your land. We are here to work with you as we make profit, or we run business, but we want the business also to benefit you as you are living around here. So as a result, they had that kind of relationship that was established at the time, and community needs were very were vast. As of now, I'm talking about more than 40 requests that we have sitting there in the office, so we receive each and every year, and it's always a challenge that we cannot be able to actually get everyone satisfied. So it's a matter of prioritizing afterwards to say what is it that the community think or believe is the priority need in the community. And then mainly it was more on the education, because most schools who were started here in the community As we know, the schools, most of the schools are funded by the community members, and then the government comes in to actually run the school and own the school, because they will provide teachers, they will pay the teachers mainly, they'll provide maybe some of the resources that are needed at the school. But in as far as the infrastructure is concerned, there's not much that has been done by the government. And I think it's still one of the challenges that is sitting there. And as we drive through, I'll show you one of the projects that we are establishing. We're actually trying to fundraise money for, which is a special school. Special school caters for children who have special needs, those who are mentally, physically disabled, and all that. So, because of the shortage of money from the government to build a school, they've actually now donated with one mobile classroom. And fortunately we've raised some funds. We'll be able to build 3 classrooms and some of the things, but according to the specification of the government. So generally what I was trying to say is that one of the projects that was identified by the community leaders is that education. So we are focusing on education. That's why a lot of infrastructure has been done under education, which is like building of classrooms. And we've built more than 100 classrooms now. We're talking about at least how many schools? We're talking about 24 schools in total, out of the 5 communities that we work with. But initially, we engaged 3 communities because those were the very closest to Phinda. As a result, how do we identify the communities? It all depends on if, for example, the lion can jump across the fence, who can be affected first. So those are the very people that we engage with and try to actually establish this kind of a working relationship. And of course, the advantage of that relationship is that the level of poaching will be actually minimized. Due to that, if you have a buy-in from the community, community members know each other. They know who has done what and who does this and who does poaching and all that. And as a result, it's very easy to get someone who has been poaching at Phinda if you go through the tribal authority structure, because they will work through their own structures, then they'll be able to get someone. Even the SAPS is very difficult. Even if you can report, it's very difficult to find someone they don't know. But the people know each other within the community. And secondly, the other community identified needs was under healthcare. I've been discussing with the guests that I'm coming with, like as we're driving this side, that under healthcare we have mainly focused also on the infrastructure, because there is one request that we received way back when we started here at Phinda of one of the clinic to be built in the community. That is the clinic we're going to visit today. And that clinic, and before that clinic, there was only a mobile clinic, which was used to come like once a week, and it used to be like for 4 hours. And if you talk about a community of about 12,000 people, it was not enough. And the nearest hospital was only about 80 kilometers away from the main community. So we have built the clinic under healthcare, and we are also doing HIV/AIDS awarenesses workshops, and together with the government, of course, because all projects we do, we make sure we identify the stakeholders first, out of the need identified by the community, and see how can we partner and work together. For us, we can build classrooms, but they need to be teachers. So the government must be involved. The MOU must be signed, memorandum of understanding, to see if we bring the infrastructure, you're going to come and employ the teachers. One classroom, of course, needs another teacher. So it's job creation at the same time, and at the same time, it also helps the learners actually to have a classroom to learn under. And the third category, which was identified by the community, is the income generating activities or projects. Basically, the unemployment rate here is very high in the community. As a result, we need to find a way how can we empower people to actually be able to work on their own, or to actually start their own businesses. We don't go to the community and say start your own businesses, but we always encourage people to come with ideas and actually bring some kind of thinking around that idea. They can come and say, maybe, like for example, we've got one project here in the community of the young people who started the pottery project. They came and say, we would love to do like pottery farming and all that. So my questions will have to trigger the point of more like drawing a business plan. Have you researched the market? Who's going to be a potential, marketer? Who's got skills here to do this? Is there anyone who have either done, anything around pottery farming? So that is our responsibility as andBeyond to actually look at that before we can recommend or go and fundraise for the particular project. So one of the projects that we have actually funded is actually the craft market. Mainly those are the women who used to make like beadwork, craft work with baskets, and they will sell it in Durban. Durban is about 3.5 hour to 4 hour drive from here, and they used to spend like days away from their families, which wasn't good. And they took their request to the travel authority, and then we got it from through the inquest of the chief, and then we were able to secure the funding for them. The site already, which is next to the road, they are actually a market is that they would love to sell also to the passing by tourists who are going to Sodwana, Kosipe, and other areas. So generally, and also at Phinda, we have actually what we did in terms of funding that project, we built them like the structure where they work from and they sell from, and also we trained the members of the committee of the project to actually to be able to handle the project more as a business, because 80% of the members of the of that project are illiterate, haven't gone to school, and so it's a bit of a challenge. That's one of the challenges of the project we do in the community, is that as much as you are empowering people, some of the empowerment cannot be possible in as much as you want to, because people are illiterate. And so we encourage that they actually get other young people or some people who can read and write. So we always have to come back and encourage them and actually mentor them. So we have built that market, and one which then we provided the training to the members, more like a business management training, record keeping, and all that. And thirdly, we have done the product development, which is mainly about what they make must relate to someone who is a potential buyer, who comes and say, well, maybe you can buy something from Australia. We teach them, they were teaching them how to really do something that will attract someone who comes from Australia, UK, wherever. So that's where we are at the moment. Of course, the registration of the market, because we don't only fund the project who are registered under CyPro or like a registered company. We always empower people to get to a stage where they can do things on their own. That's why we believe in working with the community, not for the community, which means we get them in, we work with them so that everyone will own the project and will feel that I'm part of this. And also, still on that, we believe in empowering communities through conservation. Empowering communities is actually mainly, we don't only dump the project. If, for example, they've sent a request to start a co-op, maybe to sell chickens, if we can find out that out of 10 members, for example, only one person who has got an idea of how to do this business, the other 9 don't have an idea. So firstly, it's my responsibility and my colleagues on the ground to recommend afterward, to say, as much as this is a need or as a priority need, but we recommend that each day should go on a training first, something that will expose them to what they want to do, so that they can decide after that, are we continuing doing this or what. So we work around those kind of things. So those are the 3 main categories we work with: education, healthcare, and income generating projects or activities so far. So today our trip mainly will be about each project there. I'm not sure Charles will check with the time and all that. But mainly we'll go to the school, see the school. The school we're going to visit is a primary school. We have done 2 classrooms initially, and we have actually bought furniture for about 70,000 rand. We have erected the jungle gyms or the swings, the playing equipment, and we have also built the administration block. Right now, we just finished last week the shelves for the library, the storeroom, the teachers, principal's office, and all that. So we're going to meet the principal or the deputy principal. We're going to take you around, and we've also put some like recirculating water, because each classroom we built, every 2 classroom goes with the 5,000 liter tanks with the guttering, because mainly people used to only depend on rainwater. So there was no recirculating water. Only after like 2 years ago, where the government put the main pipe from the nearest reservoir to these communities, 3 communities, and we had to check if the government has a plan to put the like water to the school, but there was no plan. So we were able to raise money for 21 schools to have water in their premises. And we are working with 5 communities in total. We started with 3. Here where we stand, this is one. This is the first community we engaged right in the beginning. The name of the community is called Mdugu or Makasa community, which has got about 13,000 people plus. So all the statistics are used to be updated after 2-3 years then. Yeah, so 13,000 people plus. And the second community is called the Nibela community, which has got about 10,000 people plus. And the third community is called the Mqobokazi community, which has got about 11,000 people plus, which is on the north. And the other fourth community we incorporated in 2006 is called Wajobe, which has got 20,000 plus. And also the fifth community is called Kwangwenya, which is right behind us, also on the western side, which has got about also 20,000 plus. And we are looking at incorporating the sixth community, which has got about 30,000 people plus, which is Lecheni along if you pass into on the other side, because most of those communities have a share at Phinda. And 2 of the 5 communities we had land claims, which were very successful, and they leased the land back to us more than 75 years. So you can count it's like for life if you can count, because I think it's after 75 years maybe I won't be alive at that time. I'm not sure. Yeah, but due to the kind of the working relationship that we have with the communities, and you will see as we go, and you'll meet some people and you can ask as many questions as you want. So we'll go to the school first. Meet the principal or deputy principal will take us around to see the classrooms, take pictures and all that. From there, go to the deaf center. Deaf center doesn't fall under 3 categories. It's a very separate project, pilot project, but we'll explain more when you get there. The deaf center, something DEV stands for Development, it's Digital Eco Village. Actually started, it's a foreign concept which was actually combined with the community identified needs. So we had to work it around there, but it's more now getting to its success. It's just taken a while to get it, on feet and get it running. But we'll have a manager there who will be taking you through computer training is taking place and all that, and all the services like photocopying, faxing, which were not here at the time, and people used to travel about 30 kilometers to catch a taxi to go and make a copy. But we had to bring that service right in the community. And it's not only benefiting the local community, but also the other communities. And then the third project we're going to visit is the clinic that I spoke about, and I'll explain more when we get there.
Okay.
Thanks, Bix.
Yeah, thank you.